Whether it's the parking debacle, the noise complaints, or the latest drama about landlords suing their tenants, the Arts District has seen its fair share of issues as of late, which got us here at CityCast thinking, does Vegas need another Arts District? If so, where should it be? Today on CityCast Las Vegas, our team debates where a second Arts District could really thrive in the Valley. It's Monday, May 18th. I'm Jesse Merrick, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. All right, Layla and Rob, we are talking about the Arts District. I think we should throw it out there first. So we are all big fans of the Arts District, right?
Yes, I think we should make it clear we are not canceling the Arts District.
Mm-hmm.
We still love the Arts District. And the fact that we're having this conversation has to do with its success. And when something is successful, you start to see other things very similar to that show up.
Yeah, and especially like with Las Vegas growing and developing, like I'm out here in Henderson, sometimes it's hard to get out to the Arts District where it is now. So why not add a second community hub in Las Vegas?
I have friends who live in Southwest that refuse to come downtown to hang out with me. So yeah, I'm all for like creating more opportunities for people to go out and just more cool areas around town. Who wouldn't want that?
And you know what? Let's be honest. The parking is an issue. Sometimes it's hard to find parking. Sometimes the construction's a little rough and you don't really want to pay for parking while you're down there anyway. So a little alternatives aren't a bad idea.
Fair.
Yes.
And also with gas prices the way they are, I don't want to drive around as much as I have to.
It took me 40 minutes to get to the Arts District one time because of the traffic and all of that from Henderson. If that's the only place I have to go walk around, go to bars, hang out with my friends, then I'm just going to stay home. And that's a sad life. And I think you also hit on it in the intro, Jesse. There's been parking issues downtown, and it feels like, I'm not knocking the neighborhood, but it almost feels like Las Vegas is outgrowing that one Arts District. Like we need more areas.
And CityCast Las Vegas is here to keep you from having a sad life.
Exactly. And Layla, to your point, like, look, when I was looking at buying a home, I wanted to be close to something like the Arts District. And all we really had was the Arts District. You know, other than that, they were like, you know, go, because Southwest hadn't really built out Uncommons and all that yet, you know, and I didn't want to deal with Summerlin and just like the glorified mall that has turned into. I wanted something with some real culture. And that was really my only opportunity down here in downtown with an area that had some unique homes. So yeah, providing us with more opportunities, more places like this to spread people around the valley and just build, you know, bigger and better areas, I think is a plus all around. So as we begin this conversation to dive into other areas that we think would fit, you know, a great spot for the Arts District or an Arts District 2.0, if you will. What's our criteria?
A second Arts
here?
District. A second Arts District. We're not trying to get rid of the original.
We're not
one.
replacing the Arts
That's
District.
a fair point. That's a fair point. We should classify that. So what's your guys' criteria on what is needed in an area for it to be able to support something like this?
What do you think, Layla?
I think definitely a opportunity for community to gather. In the Arts District, as it is now, we see a lot of people. It's a walkable neighborhood. Yep. They have community events. There's local-owned businesses. And the community wants to go down and support that area. So I think it needs to be community-focused, have opportunity for community events and community gatherings. I think it needs, you know, nowhere else in Las Vegas are we going to have the concentration of breweries, restaurants, community, local businesses that are in the Arts District now. So it needs to have the opportunity to house those type of businesses and restaurants and maybe have the opportunity to turn into a walkable neighborhood with some adjustments. So I'm going to be making adjustments to my neighborhoods and to my suggestions. They're not going to be like as is, but I think that's kind of my criteria. What about you, Rob?
I feel like this is like Roller Coaster Tycoon is what we're going to be doing in each of these cities. I can't wait for it. Yeah.
It's okay. We can be aspirational and have some wish lists involved in our neighborhood picks. I agree with Layla about walkability. I think that's a big factor. I think art is a big factor, especially an opportunity for art and having that part of the cultural identity of your neighborhood. I think a strong presence of local independent businesses is very important. And also you got to have a really good dining scene. And I'm not talking about Chick-fil-A. I'm talking about homegrown, affordable food that we can all enjoy. And also, if parking is not going to be free, it has to at least be easy and accessible.
Yeah. I agree with you on the parking, and that to me is like top of the list as I kind of went through this exercise myself. You know, you got to have ample parking, and it has to be free. Forget this paid parking.
All right, Gibbon, let's do it.
Yeah, you know, so like I think it's got to be free. Again, walkability, like you guys said, that's a big part of it. And I think there has to be some history. It kind of falls in line with what you said, Rob, about there needing to be art. But I think there's got to be some history to the area to kind of tie in with it all. So that's kind of how I approached it. And as we dive into this whole deal, I know each of us are going to basically be representing the neighborhoods that we call home. As you guys know, I'm a downtowner. Layla, you're in Henderson. Rob, you're down in Southwest. We're going to essentially represent those areas of the valley. So Layla, we'll start with you. Let's go ahead and lay out some areas in Henderson, or the area in Henderson that you think would be able to support a second arts district.
So I think Henderson is great because it has multiple streets. It has multiple, I have to say, strip malls where you could build an arts district around. And I think thinking about the idea of free parking, that's what downtown in the arts district used to have years ago. It used to be free to park. Parking used to be more accessible. So all of my suggestions are going to have free parking and ample parking.
That's a win.
Exactly. So I think the most obvious choice here is Water Street. That is our most walkable neighborhood. It has some local businesses, Mojave Brewing, Azura Kachina. We all love the Juan's Flaming Fajitas. Love Lady Brewing is down there. Biscuits and Bourbon. The food scene and the drinking scene is there. The nightlife scene, if you're going to go anywhere in Henderson and experience some nightlife, it's going to be Water Street. There's some bigger establishments. You have the arena down there. You have some casino properties. So I think if we are thinking about adding in art galleries and putting more murals down there, I think that is the neighborhood that's the most ready and prepared to be a second arts district. They even have the Water Street Plaza and Amphitheater, which in high school we used to go down there and do events, and we were a part of the Water Street parades that were going down. So it's very community minded as well. And in Henderson, if you're looking for history, that's where Water Street's going to give you that history.
You know, I think Water Street scores points on the art factor because you do see a lot of that at some of the events at Water Street Plaza. Also, their City Hall is right there. Henderson City Hall is right there. And they have a gallery in the lobby that's free and has different kinds of exhibits all the time. So I think they score a lot of points. I got to mention one of my favorite restaurants down there, which is Azura Cucina, an Italian restaurant, which kind of elevated the dining scene down there on Water Street. Yeah. And also they have a sister wine bar next door. How much hipster do you have to get before we give in and say, hey, Water Street is sounding pretty good these days?
Yeah. Right. I feel like with Water Street, as Henderson grew, it became less of a hub for Henderson. And that's why we don't get the business down there. But I think if we put some more coffee shops, we already have Public Works Coffee Bar down there, more coffee shops, a bit more maybe visible art that's not tucked away in the City Hall building, I think Water Street would be a great contender. And there's some, you could inject some of the businesses that you see at the district in Green Valley. Yeah. Maybe take Echo and Rig and put it on Water Street, or bring some of the walkability to the district. That area, I feel like Green Valley Parkway sees a lot of traffic, so they would be prepared for more traffic, more foot traffic, but it's not the most walkable neighborhood. So that's why I leaned in a little bit more to Water Street than the district at Green Valley. But
and the district's a little corporate, a little manufactured as far as a walkable neighborhood goes.
Exactly.
But I do like it.
Within that kind of corporate cold infrastructure, it is pretty walkable. There's Green Valley Ranch Resort that has a lot of great, their spa is great, has a great locals discount. But I will say something that the district is doing great already is community events. They have movies on the lawn. They have like a bubble party, and they have a lot of like kid-friendly, family-friendly, just like everyone-friendly events at the district. And it is a really great hub for the Green Valley area. So I think that could, with a little bit of updates to the infrastructure, making it more walkable, connecting the two sides of the street, because Green Valley Parkway really splits it up, where there's one side that's more shopping centers with the Whole Foods and Cantina Tequila, Cetabello's over there, and then the other side is more of the mall area with the casino. You need to kind of marry those two.
There's a lot of traffic separating the two, and I kind of have a bone. I have a bone to pick with Cantina Tequila. For a place that has tequila in their name. Now, Jesse, I know you like a good shot of tequila as much as I do, right? The last time I was there, we kept asking for certain tequilas, and they were like, oh, we're out of that. Our list is outdated. I'm like, what do you have? Am I stuck with Casamigos here? Give me some real tequila. So for a place that's supposed to have a big tequila list, they were running short on a lot. And I hope they've turned things around on that department. I'm not ashamed to call them out on that.
Look, if you're an arts district, you got to be boozy. Like, you really got to make sure you bring it in that regard. So I'm with you there, Rob. I like the idea of Water Street. When I first moved to Vegas, I actually lived down in Henderson off of Galleria next to the Costco over there. And when I first found out about Water Street, actually, that was the first brewery I went to, was Love Lady, and I fell in love with that area.
Great spot, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I just remember thinking like, wow, this place is going to blow up. And it never quite did. And so I think it would be awesome if there's a way to really get it rolling. I know the city has invested over there, especially with the Golden Knights building the Silver Knights practice facility down there too. So there's been investment there. So I think the potential is definitely there.
And it's got that history you were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, we really, with the mine that was there, the basic mine, I mean, it really was where modern day Las Vegas kind of got its start. And I agree with you that boozy should be a requirement for these neighborhoods. So let's add that to the list.
So we know Water Street's in the running here. Rob, you're up next. Spring Valley, a very interesting area that maybe doesn't have the history that some would want, right?
Well, I live in the Southwest Valley. Now, hear me out, okay? I can hear the sound of hipsters rolling their eyes as I say this. Now, it's a hot town in a residential sense. It's a little hard to describe my part of town, but I'm talking about the area off the 215, the Durango exit, the Rainbow exit, that area. That's where I live. I'm actually right by the Durango Casino. And, there's a lot of chains. It's the heart of suburbia. But whenever I tell people I live here, everyone says the same thing. It's a great part of town. It's new. It's growing. It has a lot of momentum. So let's talk about why this could be Arts District-esque. Now, there's the Bend, which is kind of like what you'd get if a strip mall was cool. Now, I want to at least paraphrase my buddy Al Mancini of the Food and Loathing podcast. He described the Bend kind of as an arts district within a strip mall. I think he might have been exaggerating a little bit, but there's plenty of cool factor there. You've got Butcher and Thief, which is a steakhouse by Corey Harwell of Carson Kitchen. Doesn't get cooler than that. And it's a great restaurant with decent prices for a steakhouse. Sliceateria is on the way. Now, that's by John Arena of Metro Pizza, the godfather of pizza in Las Vegas. You've got Evolve, which is a brewery right there. And you can't get any more arts district than a brewery. I mean, the Arts District has like 511 breweries. So let's put one here at the Bend and give it a little hip factor. There's even Makeshift Union at the Bend, which is the old barbershop that used to be next door to Esther's Kitchen and the Arts District. So I'm getting Arts District vibes here. I know it's a strip mall. I know it's corporate. I know it's suburbs, but I think there's a lot of momentum here. And then the next thing you think of in that part of town is Uncommons.
Exactly, yeah.
Where you have Market in the Alley, you have farmers markets pretty much every weekend. There's the Quad centralized area where you can have some events. They do yoga on the rooftop of one of the garages.
Which is pretty badass.
Are they doing that in the Arts District? I don't know, but I don't think so. And then you round things out with Durango. Arts District doesn't have a casino, but the Southwest does. And Durango is pretty cool. It's pretty customer friendly without dwelling on the gambling stuff. I've got a lot of favorite places here. I really like Mijo. It's one of my favorite happy hours. That's the Mexican restaurant there.
Yeah.
And Mijo has Wax Rabbit. And what do I always love about downtown bars? The speakeasy. Easy. You could win me over with the speakeasy. I don't care if it's drawn out or beaten into the ground. Give me a good speakeasy. I appreciate it. And then, of course, the one thing I am going to say, though, Durango is losing a little bit of what I liked about it, and it's a little bit of a victim of its own success. Because remember when it opened, we kept talking about like all the natural light that kind of flows from one end.
Beautiful and bright.
Yeah. Now that they've added the new parking garage on one side, and now they're doing the extension on the other side, they're kind of blocking some of that off, and it's getting a little dark.
Natural light is key. You have to have that. Come on.
Yeah. There was a great little kind of courtyard seating area that was right by the bar in the food hall, in the Eat Your Heart Out food hall, that I loved. It was designed so well. It never really had direct sunlight, despite being outdoors. You could sit there with a laptop. You could write a newsletter there.
Yeah.
It was a great spot, and that's gone now because of the extension. So I miss some of the natural light, but we got Durango. We've got IKEA. Don't dismiss IKEA. Next to Ashley Furniture.
Hey, they got the food court.
The food scene. I'm going to make, this is going to seal the deal. If you look at some of the independent restaurants in that area, especially on Rainbow, it's almost like a mini Chinatown. Too many restaurants to name. I mean, there's Taste, there's Rainbow Kitchen. If you like Chinese, you might get some dim sum in there too. Shanghai Taste has a second location there. I believe it's a franchise, but it's still the great Xiaolong Bao, the soup dumplings that you love. And there's one place I think is so cool. It's called Winky HK Barbecue and Noodle. The name is a mouthful, but it's kind of like a noodle shop and little mini street market in a tiny little space with like roast ducks hanging. And you can get some spicy Taiwanese style beef noodle soup. I love it. If you go down the street, you got Habanero, a former chef of Nobu who's kind of doing his own take on Japanese fusion.
Look at that.
Great
and then
late
you
night
circle
spot.
back to where I live and you got the Black Sheep. Our
Black
buddy
Sheep is great.
Jamie Tran, who made an impression on Top Chef. She's doing her own spin on Vietnamese cuisine. I love that place. Katsuya Tonton, the gold standard for katsu in Las Vegas. I mean, I think the food seals the deal.
Look, you just sealed the deal with that. Yeah, I was going to say, look at you, bringing the heat with the food, making us drool.
I will say my thing with Spring Valley, it is a really fun area. Like I had a whole day over there, went to Ashley Home Furniture across the street to the Bend to get a burger at With Love Always, back to IKEA. And then it was just a really great afternoon. But every time I had to get in the car to go to the next destination.
Yes, I will concede that point. It's missing the walkability factor. It's missing the history. I know. But you know what? If you got a car, it is all kind of close by and convenient, and you can make it work. And who knows? Maybe the Bend will kind of grow from there. They're supposed to have pickleball courts there. You can't get any more hipster than pickleball. Add in an art gallery.
You need some mahjong too, and then take it to the next level. That's so hot right now.
I mean, maybe they could make. I don't know if the Bend is close enough to do a pedestrian bridge, but I think Uncommons and Durango, there could be a pedestrian bridge somewhere to connect those two.
That would be a stretch because you're being blocked by the actual 215 right there in between them. But you know what? If we're going to maybe turn the corner on the Vegas Loop, maybe Elon Musk can build a tunnel between Uncommons and the Bend. And you know what? Instead of sticking those stupid Teslas in there, let's put an actual people mover in there. Let's put a little mini subway in there and show what we can really do in Las Vegas.
I think that would be cool.
That will be the victory moment in making the Southwest the next arts district.
Make it a monorail. Connect them all with a monorail to the Durango, to the Bend, to the Uncommons. Make it a monorail loop. That would be very Vegas.
Station casinos, take notes. I think they could fund that one, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, guys. So it's my turn now. And we're going to bring it back downtown. Yeah, that's where arts districts belong. Okay.
I knew you were going to do this, Jesse.
Yeah. This is where it belongs. And this is the low-hanging fruit here. But
Jesse's
the Huntridge
going to
area.
center us.
Yeah, with the Huntridge Theater, okay? And look, I know it's been such a roller coaster ride, especially for me downtown since I moved down here. I've been rooting for them to figure it out. So if we're going to like sprinkle our magic pixie dust anywhere, it's going to be on getting, things rolling with the Huntridge Theater, because I think that would make that whole area explode. We talk about needing parking. Well, okay, look at all the parking lots that are around there. You got where the old 99-cent store building was, massive parking lot there. The Huntridge Center, tons of free spaces to park. And then also again at the Huntridge Theater, once that is up and rocking and rolling, like you got plenty of spots to park there as well. So you would cover that. And again, keep it free. Also the history as well. Okay, this area got booming in the 1940s. Okay. It was one of the first subtract divisions in Las Vegas as well. So you got the cool, trendy homes, plenty of neighborhoods that people can walk to that area from. And then also, too, we've already got a couple of businesses that have filled in around there, okay? You got Yukon Pizza, one of my personal favorites in the area here. I think they're solid, yeah.
One of the best.
Yeah, Winnie and Ethel's, which I haven't checked out yet, but I want to. I'm just not a big, go-to breakfast guy because I feel like I can make it at home. But one of the spots that I've heard great things about, and then like I said, the Huntridge Theater and everything that brings with it. Jive Turkey is another one. You guys a fan of Jive Turkey?
I do trivia every Tuesday night at Jive Turkey, and it has become a favorite. Their Hobgoblin drink.
Shout out to Jason Harris.
Shout out to Jason Harris, the best trivia master ever. And Jive Turkey has a great drink, the Hobgoblin, that I get every time. And their menu, their food specials, they're always doing something great there.
Yeah, their bar area is dope, too. I just love that whole setup they've got going over there. And I think you bring more businesses in there, and so much more foot traffic would come to them in the other areas. I've been waiting on that. So like I said, the Huntridge Theater would be the thing that really kicks it off. We also have Circle Park just a little bit further down, okay? You can walk to it. If they get that area booming. I know, no, it's not. But I'm saying is if that area gets booming, again, sprinkling the magic pixie dust there, figure out a way to make Circle Park work. And then it can also bleed into that area on Maryland Parkway down by, the high school that's down there. There's so many houses and buildings there that I think could be turned into really cool restaurants or studios and stuff. And some of you may be wondering, well, where's the art? Well, there's New Woo Art Collective that's down there as well, okay? So we got a little bit of the art scene there, too. We could really make that bloom. I think that's the perfect spot for it. And the kicker, it's a mile away from the actual Arts District, so it still could carry some foot traffic across from there when it's not the dead of summer.
You are making a pretty good case for this. And I'll be honest with you, I've always kind of thought as the Huntridge neighborhood is kind of the up-and-coming successor to what the Arts District is, where you can have some newer businesses, but also have that history, too, that you were talking about. I mean, it really was one of the first neighborhoods of its kind in Las Vegas as our community was developing. And I'm glad you pointed out the art, too. I think there's a couple other galleries and things in that area, too. So there's a lot going on there. It has a lot to do to catch up to the Arts District, but I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I think the hipsters would definitely love Huntridge area as a second Arts District.
Vibe,
Yeah, very similar vibe, very central, and I think that's what the Arts District has going for it. It's central to the Valley. It might take me 40 minutes to get there, but it's probably going to take someone from Centennial 40 minutes to get there as well.
And all those walkable homes right by there, too.
Yeah. And I think that would really just boost the area around here, like you said, to your point of the homes, and just reinvigorate the area in terms of people will be able to come out here and continue to remodel homes and, bring them back to their roots. I think that would be the fun part. All right, so we've all laid out our cases here, okay? Now let's take a quick vote. Who wins and why?
It's a tough one.
And we can't vote for ourselves. We have to make sure we threw that in there.
This is hard because I like the history of the Huntridge and the potential. Like, I went to UNLV, so driving down past Circle Park, it was never my favorite place to drive around, but it is the most walkable and probably has the best history. Like, the hipsters would love it the most. Yeah. But I really do love the food scene down in Spring Valley. Yeah. So I think solely for the food, please don't hate me, Jive Turkey, I still love you. But solely for the food in Spring Valley, I think I might have to go with Spring Valley.
Oh my gosh, I'm shocked. I think it was my presentation.
Yeah, it was your presentation, Rob. You knocked it out of the park.
Okay, well, I'm going to bounce it back to Layla because I thought you did a strong presentation. And as I said, I've kind of seen Huntridge as a ripe neighborhood to be the next Arts District, but it's not there yet. I feel like Water Street is. And also there's enough distance between Water Street and the actual downtown arts district, that you can kind of look at the Water Street district as the arts district north or west or southwest. I don't know. I don't even know where I am on the map anymore. But just a different part of the valley. Yes, but they got so much going for it. The art, the food, the walkability, the parking, the history. Yeah. So I think it's there now, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, it just needs, honestly, the business and the patrons and people to go down there more. But Jesse, who you're voting for?
Okay, so I'm the tiebreaker here. I got to go with Rob in the Southwest area. Purely because, and again, don't get me wrong,
our audience is going to be so mad.
Yeah, but like Water Street's already got a little vibe going to it. Southwest is coming along. Rob swayed me with the food, okay? You just waxed poetic about all the different dining options around there, which I think is so critical to an arts district area in particular. You have to have that. I think they can bring more of the arts itself there, but the food scene is already popping over there, so that's why I got to lean towards you.
It's the foundation. It is.
All right, guys. So now we know, hopefully, I don't know, the Dapper Company, Station Casinos, any of the folks we talked about with some deep pockets were listening, and they can start building a second arts district here in Vegas in the places that they came. Just like dedicate a wing of it to CityCast Las Vegas. Just throw up a sign, brought to you by CityCast Las Vegas or something.
Or just sign up to be a member. We'll take that.
Yeah, that too. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for the great conversation. This was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our free morning newsletter too. And don't forget, you can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm/Las Vegas. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Until then, though, take care. Have a good one.